All right, thank you. Thank you very much to Veronica Robles and her all-female mariachi band. So if I could ask everyone to find your table again, take your seats. You know, you can do it like musical chairs, sit wherever you stopped, right? We are going to move on. Thank you very much. You know, the part of this community that I know I treasure, and I think everyone here acknowledges and treasures, is the camaraderie, the collaboration, the relationships that are being built over many years of doing work and getting to know each other. And that's why this is such an interactive community, and it's great to see. And we can interrupt it for a little bit here for this next stage of the program. So please grab your seats. Folks over here on this side, if you can grab your seats, please. Yes, that's you. All right. So welcome back to NECEC's 11th Annual Green Tie Gala. Still a couple of people over there. Jarrett. Individual name calling, does that help? We'll applaud there. So, I want to introduce this next segment, and I think it's something that we and our partners have put a lot of thought into. With the growing needs for clean energy and for the clean economy solutions that we're transitioning to, there are significant changes underway in all areas of clean energy. Driving these changes are innovative technologies, new partnership models, reimagined roles for many electricity providers. And more we're seeing utilities exploring new models, redefining their roles in the clean energy ecosystem, and accelerating the transition to a clean economy by partnering with customers, partnering with innovators, partnering with growth companies, all across the clean energy industry. So for our Gala speaking program tonight, we're really pleased to be collaborating with Avangrid, a major regional and global clean energy company that combines both utility and renewable roles. And we have a couple parts to this speaking program. For the first part of tonight's keynote conversation, I'm very pleased to be introducing Bob Kump, who's the Chief Executive Officer and President of Avangrid Networks. We're going to welcome Bob to the stage to share his perspective on significant changes across many areas of clean energy, including the changing roles of utilities, and to set up a keynote conversation with some of our colleagues, his colleagues as well, focused on partnership in the rapidly changing offshore wind industry. So please join me in welcoming Avangrid's Bob Kump to the Green Tie Gala stage.
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, everyone. I think it goes without saying that the electric industry is experiencing unprecedented change. And this is being enabled by innovation and advancements in clean energy, power delivery, and foundational new technologies. At Avangrid Networks, for more than just lines and poles or transformers and substations, we're playing a key role in transforming our sector to integrate both large-scale and distributed clean energy resources, and providing customers with greater awareness and control over their energy usage. We're building a smarter grid to help customers make informed choices so they can save both energy and money. We're investing in resiliency and bringing clean energy to their doorsteps. And we're pioneering the technologies that will enable our grids to adapt to future needs and opportunities, such as those presented by distributed technologies, electric vehicles, and energy storage. In New York, we're working with Cornell University and the city of Ithaca to create an energy-smart community, a living lab to unleash the power of smart grid technology, to integrate higher levels of DER, to help customers understand and reduce their energy use, and to provide them with new product offerings and options to shift their usage to off-peak hours. These demonstrations utilize information, sensors, controls to change consumers' behaviors and to modernize demand and energy efficiency at a building, campus, and community scale. We've also implemented a number of energy storage and electric vehicle pilots, which will inform our ability to support the realization of the region's energy storage and zero-emission vehicle goals, while providing value to consumers, the grid, and DER developers. In summary, the Energy Smart community serves as an innovative ecosystem to test multiple concepts simultaneously and to help support the integration of clean energy into the grid. We're also trying to adapt to climate change, and we're seeing that, seems like, on a daily basis. This June, we announced a program called Transforming Energy. It's a 10-year, $2.5 billion plan to build a more modern and resilient grid. As we experience more and more frequent and severe weather events, we're building on new technologies, including recent microgrid demonstrations, to explore ways to keep the lights on and protect the most critical facilities in our communities. And we're focused on blue sky days as well. Private solar is here. It contributes to a diverse, resilient energy mix, and we are committed to collaborating with our customers and with the solar industry to make it an integral part of the electric system of the future. At Avangrid, we are keenly focused on helping to decarbonize our economy. In fact, we have a goal as a company of being carbon neutral by 2035. To achieve these goals, we believe we must take a diversified approach, as no one technology or single energy source will help us get where we need to go. Working with Hydro-Quebec, our transmission project in Maine, which we also call NECEC, sorry about that, will provide 1,200 megawatts of clean hydroelectric energy and will act as the battery for intermittent renewables, including the emerging offshore wind industry. Next year, in a joint venture with Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, we expect to begin construction on Vineyard Wind, the nation's first large-scale offshore wind facility off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. Thank you. We've also secured a lease for an additional facility off the coast of North Carolina. By leveraging the global expertise of the Iberdrola Group, which is our largest shareholder at Avangrid, and Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, we intend to be a leader both in the offshore wind industry and in the decarbonization of our economy. So because of that, it's truly my pleasure to turn it back over to Peter, who will introduce our panel for tonight's discussion on both offshore wind and on Vineyard Wind. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for sharing such important experiences and perspectives from the changing role of utilities in partnering role of utilities in this clean energy space, and for setting up this next part of our conversation around offshore wind. So for this, I'd like to invite two other folks from the Avangrid and their partner side, and as well as my colleague, three folks to come up for a discussion panel. This is the Avangrid CEO, Jim Torgerson, and their partner from Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners and Vineyard Wind, Lars Pedersen, moderated in a conversation by NECEC's Executive Vice President, Janet Gilbesser.
Thank you, Peter. This is an exciting evening, and this is a really exciting topic, so I am delighted to be here with the two of you. And to kick things off, I'm going to say, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges in expanding the offshore wind here in the Northeast?
Well, the opportunities that we see are beyond just Massachusetts right now. I mean, when you look at all the activity going on in New England and New York, there's just a myriad of opportunities. When you look at that, there's like, DOE has talked about 25,000 megawatts of new opportunities. Now, the challenges we have, the supply chain, how do we put that in? This is the first, as Bob said, the first large offshore wind farm that's going to be built in the U.S. So we don't have the infrastructure here yet. So we got to take it, bring it in, bring it from Europe, and start investing in that. And so the challenges are training people, getting the supply chain put together, and then actually doing the construction, which is probably the least challenging of all these besides the permitting, because we're going to just mimic what's been done in Europe.
No, I would agree. I mean, there will be many challenges in doing it for the first time. I think if you think of it in a little bit of a bigger picture, I mean, I continue to be amazed about how big the potential are for more offshore wind farms here in both in New England, but up and down the coast. And I think, you know, the whole energy system needs to be modeled so that offshore wind can be integrated at a large scale. That means making sure that leases come out, that they are developed, you know, in a stable and predictable framework, but also that you have it in your mix. So how do you integrate? I mean, we can build these offshore wind farms really, really fast. We will, touch wood, we will be done middle of 2022 with 800 megawatts. And if somebody is willing to sign another 800 megawatt PPA, we could probably do that within, you know, 2023. So it is a resource that you can deploy at an extremely fast scale. And I think that needs to go into the overall planning of the energy system here, and maybe we haven't started that yet.
Okay, thank you. And I think our policymakers heard that message.
Yeah.
Our tagline at NECEC is your partner in for the energy future. And this is a unique partnership here, so maybe you could talk a little bit about what you see in the nature of your partnership and what is unique about it.
So first of all, I think that the two companies had complementary skills. I mean, we had Avangrid, who had been present here in the market for a long time, had a very strong grid background. But I think actually for me, what has set out with the partnership is that it was a very, very difficult decision to go for an early project, to invest a lot of money in making it happen, and you know, getting the comfort that we could build the project using European resources and develop it at the price we could. So I think it was a group of people in the board that was really, really hands-on, and they got overloaded with information. They digested it somehow and made it possible that we can go forward. So I think skills-wise, there's a lot of good things in the partnership, but it is actually down to the people that we work together. We're an integrated team. We're on the ground, and that has worked out extremely well.
And Jim, what are you bringing to that?
Well, we've been partners for, what, a year and a half now when we came into this. And you look at what Avangrid has, and we do onshore wind. We have 6,500 megawatts of onshore wind and renewables in the U.S. We've never done offshore, but our majority owner, Iberdrola, does. And so they have 545 megawatts operating in Europe, and they're building another 1,700 megawatts right now. So we have the expertise from our majority shareholder. We have the expertise on the onshore and a lot of relationships and the regulatory aspects. So it's a very good partnership in that we work together on everything. So it fits together very well.
Okay, so both of you have mentioned your European background, and I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you're bringing from Europe, what you find different here in the United States, and what the two regions, as it were, could learn from each other.
Well, when you look at what's happened in Europe, they've been doing this for, what, close to 20 years now with offshore
25
wind.
almost.
In the U.S., we have the opportunity here to build something from scratch, from the beginning, and build an industry that's going to be along the coast here, in, whether it's in New England, the Mid-Atlantic, you know. So we have that opportunity, and now it's up to the states to get together and be able to put this together, get the supply chain intact, and have the suppliers build what they need, but don't do it everywhere. We have to be cognizant of where does this make sense. So Massachusetts has the lead right now, is the way we see it. You're going to have other supply points, but we got to do this very intelligently and make sure that it works together. And so we can bring the things we learned in Europe, bring all those things here, and then start working on it.
Lars?
Yeah, I think that there's, when I started working on this 2.5 years ago, we were very worried about Jones Act and all the complications. But the good news is, the more you work with the projects and you work with the grid integration and so on, a lot of it is similar. So yes, you need to move the supply chain over, and I think they will. The good news is they are very eager to come. I think the policy developments up and down the Atlantic seaboard has definitely stimulated the interest. So they will come here And as Jim said, we have a chance to do it right. I think what policymakers and developers and supply chains should think about, and also the lessons from Europe, is that, I mean, offshore wind is a marine construction project that ends with an offshore wind turbine. It's a very expensive component, but it's by far the most boring part of the project. It is a marine construction project. We are moving big, very, very bulky stuff that weighs 1,000+ tons around. So it needs marine infrastructure. And I think you don't get supply chain without marine infrastructure, ports, and the surrounding facilities. And that is the challenge to really unlock the potential here in the US right now.
Are you seeing differences in doing business here in the United States versus Europe, and are there pluses and minuses?
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate?
I'm just thinking through how I phrase this so I can walk out here safely. No, I think the permitting process is tricky. I think, was that polite enough? No, so I think, but it is what it is. It's the same for everyone. We have to work with it. There are other jurisdictions that had found a simpler way of doing it. I think the same will happen here. We just need to go through the motions. I think the good thing about working here is that people, we can make decisions, and you can, go from small scale. When you see it's right, you can sort of do the hockey stick. That's what you always dream about when you do strategy. I think the US is better at doing that. Sometimes in Europe, it goes through too many hoops thinking about it. So there are pluses and minuses.
Any advice you can offer, Jim?
Well, when you look at it, we do have our regulatory processes. But you look at Europe versus the United States. I mean, we have our states dictating much of it. In Europe, you have different countries. So some of them are about the same size in some respects. But so we have to work in each state, figure out how to get things done. But when it really gets down to it, a lot of similarities. I mean, you have, the construction is going to be very similar. The regulatory process, okay, that's going to be a little different. The markets are a little different. I mean, we have markets, we have capacity markets, which we can debate how effective those are. But, so we have different market structures. But in the end, we're building wind farms that are going to be very similar conditions as they are in Europe and the US. So there are a lot of similarities, and there's a few differences. So the challenge is we haven't done it yet on a big scale. So where Europe has the experience, we don't. We're bringing that here, so we got to learn it and figure out how to do it as expeditiously as possible.
Expeditiously is a great word, because my next question really is, some people have said you have a very ambitious time frame for this project, and just wonder what your thoughts are on that and what you're going to need to meet it.
Well, when I look at it, you go back a little bit. They've been working on this since really 2008, when the BOEM and the states got together and started looking at environmental issues. 2015 was when the lease was first granted. And so we've been working on it since, you look at 2015, we're going to be operational at the end of 2021, 2022. It's about a 7-year time frame, which is very similar to what's being done in Europe. So, people say it's aggressive. Yes, and a lot of things have to happen. The good thing is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts wants this to happen. So they've been very constructive. BOEM wants this to happen. So they're also being very constructive. We still have to follow all the regulations, all the rules. But we see this as an opportunity. And then knowing how to do the construction, bringing the people from Europe, yeah, we do have the Jones Act to deal with, but we can mimic that and get it done and do it in a timely fashion.
Lars, any comments?
Yeah, we try to do it fast. I would agree with that. I think a lot of the challenges we have is, everybody has to get used to this new technology. And so we're not only debating the one project, we're also debating everything we decide for the first time for Vineyard Wind. Is that going to set a precedence not only for the next project in Massachusetts, but New York and elsewhere? And that sometimes makes it, even more difficult to reach a conclusion in a short time frame. And I think we feel and appreciate that. But I think the good thing is about going fast, we can capture the federal tax credits. It shows that offshore wind can be done at an attractive price point. We can get the supply chain here. We can get it to grow so that we can continue on a trajectory that makes it cost efficient. So there are definitely pros and cons. It feels some days like it's an aggressive timeline, but Jim is telling me it's not, so that's good.
Okay. So I think Massachusetts has really been a springboard because there have been procurements in Rhode Island, Connecticut, other procurements. New York has announced a target. So what's your vision for the next decade for offshore wind?
I continue to be amazed about how big the potential is. I hope, we are very happy that we were the first ones. Rhode Island has picked the projects as well. I'm sure other companies will come here, and together we will shape an industry. I think there's much more potential than what we're seeing right now. I think the consensus is 9-10 gigawatts. There are no limitations to the size. There's going to be, we'd have to discuss grid, market integration, etc. But I think there's a lot of potential. 2.5 years ago, when we started looking at this project, the presentations we made to the investors were maybe 400 megawatts, maybe 800 on a good day by 2020, and now we're here at 10 gigawatts. So I think the hockey stick is there. It's one of the few strategy presentations that actually worked out. So I think the potential is here, and we have an opportunity to make it happen in a big way where we deliver clean energy and jobs.
And Jim, how do you see it fitting into the overall picture that Bob started to paint here, really, for Avangrid?
Well, for Avangrid, we have two businesses. Bob heads up our networks business, and then our renewable business is headed up out in Portland, Oregon. We're bringing the two together in some respects. We see this as a big tool for us, a big investment opportunity for us. I mean, we're already spending $5.5 billion over the next 4 or 5 years just on an onshore wind. Doesn't even count the offshore wind. And we're going to spend another, about $9.5 billion on our networks business over the next few years. So we see this as an opportunity to invest long term, get clean energy in for not only the Commonwealth, for all of New England and the states. Being at the forefront of this, one of the things we got to make sure we do, though, is have a platform that keeps growing. In order for us to be successful, not only us, for the entire offshore wind industry, we probably need about 2,000 megawatts a year on a continuous basis. So it brings the supply chain in, gets things moving, and they can see that there is a future for the suppliers to be here and for them to be profitable and to have ongoing business. So I see this as just a great long-term opportunity for Avangrid and for everybody in the industry.
Well, thank you both. It's been really exciting to hear about this, and we're only at the beginning. And a few years now, maybe we'll come back and hear about how we're exporting energy to the rest of the country.
Thank you.
Thank you to Lars and to Jim and to Janet for sharing those insights, talking about the many exciting opportunities getting underway in offshore wind. And in so many ways, it's such a great illustration of how rapidly things can change and are starting to change, which is part of why all of us are in this industry, to make that really happen for the benefit of this region and so much of the world. So thank you. And now, with great pleasure, I'm going to ask our other platinum sponsor, Enel, to the stage to build on the theme of global and Northeast clean energy transitions, as well as to kick off the presentation of the 2018 Green Tie Gala Awards. Please join me in welcoming Mike Storch, CEO of Enel X.
Thank you all. I appreciate the warm welcome. First I have to apologize. I was a little hard-pressed to come up with appropriate green items, if you will, and the only thing I could find was the clown section of a Halloween store. So the tie. I opted not to go for the red nose. I didn't think it was going to work, but we'll do the best we can. I want to say, I don't want to bore you with a lot of the same stuff that we just heard, because Bob Kump did a great job in describing what Avangrid has been doing, and in a lot of ways it parallels exactly what Enel has been doing. I jokingly have referred to Enel for the past 18 years as the biggest company nobody ever heard of. And just to give you an idea what the scale is that Enel has, we deliver power to 72 million meters around the world, and estimate that that translates to serving about 500 million people and providing them with their power. So the scope of our business is absolutely enormous. Roughly 35 countries, throughout Europe, parts of Asia, Latin America, North America. So it is simply an enormous organization. Many of you may be aware, for example, that Fortune magazine puts out a list of companies that will change the world. They've done that list now for 4 years. Only one utility has been on that list for all 4 years. And in fact, until this past year, it was the only utility on the list at all, but that company is Enel, with very similar commitments to carbon neutrality and so forth that we heard from Bob earlier. And we're also one of the largest generators of renewable power in the world. Here in the US, Annual Green Power North America, for example, built more renewable energy last year than anyone in North America. And I'm very, very proud to be part of this organization. I realize if you're looking at me and saying, well, gee, you really couldn't have been in this business very long, Mike. You must be 25, 30 years old, max. But I've actually been in renewables for 31 years, long before it was fashionable, starting out with small hydro company. And in fact, our business was centered right here in New England. And I look now, and I'm sure I won't get this quite right, but I can read the name of the organization. The American Council for Energy Efficient Economy ranks Massachusetts #1 in the country for energy efficiency. And NECEC, which is the unit that I head up, and I'll describe in a moment, has actually helped to make that all possible with the initiatives we've worked with the state of Massachusetts and the city of Boston in terms of helping to improve their energy profile, sustainability, energy efficiency overall. But what's really amazing, 6 states, the top 6 states ranked by that study, 5 of them are New York and New England-based states. So we have done an amazing job in making a difference. And when I say we, I'm talking about the folks in this room. We have a number of representatives from Massachusetts, the Clean Peak Standard that recently was passed into law. Massachusetts really is leading the charge. The focus on storage, the focus on sustainability and renewables in general is just, it's about time. I did have an opportunity a couple of weeks ago. I was at the One Planet Summit in New York City with a very, very impressive group. It was awesome. The president of France, the president of Spain, the prime minister of New Zealand, and the commitment that they have to the Paris Accords and beyond, and all that they're trying to do to really make a difference. Some of you may be offended by this, but it embarrasses me in some ways in terms of the White House and the position it takes with respect to the importance of dealing with climate change. But obviously the folks in this room have a very, very different view, and I want to thank all of you for that. NLX, which is the unit that I head up, or have the good fortune to be part of, is, for most people, you may know it as ENERNOC, which we had a name change earlier in the month, largest demand response company in the world, and really leading the charge in terms of what I refer to simply as optimization, sustainability, and resilience. And it's a lot of what Bob talked about earlier in terms of all the initiatives surrounding dealing with the effects of renewables and the proliferation of renewables in the, globally, and the impact it's having as well with the push down to the distribution level of where people are generating power. Battery storage, much more focus on smart grids, smart cities, fiber optics. I mean, the scope of what we're doing globally is quite dramatic. I don't want to bore you all with all of this. You can read about it on the websites. We have 2 tables here of an amazing group of people, and we're growing additional support and members of the staff with a couple of the ladies that have joined us today. We really are trying to build an amazing team, and again, I'm very, very proud to be a part of it. I think I was given 4 minutes. I have absolutely no idea how much time I've used. Is there a clock anywhere? But I do have the privilege of, presenting the award for the winner of the Emerging Company of the Year. I'd like to name the nominees. 3 very, very impressive groups, and all of you should be very, very proud to have been nominated here. It's an honor in and of itself. You're all winners already. I was going to come out here, by the way, and initially say something like, I'd like to thank the Academy, but I didn't think that was going to work since I'm not here for an award. In any event, Energy Sage, you know, a company that where are the Any Sage people? All the way in the back of the room. You should have stepped up a little on the sponsorship, folks. Pike Energy. And these have been listed alphabetically, so last but certainly not least is Excel. Now, I went to the website, I did a little bit of homework, and I looked at each one of these companies. They really are all impressive in terms of things they're doing to make a difference in connection with the things that matter to the people in this room. The winner, I think, will become very obvious as soon as I spit out a few statistics. They're responsible for 77 million miles of transportation and a reduction of roughly 12,000 tons of carbon. Okay, truly amazing. I mean, I didn't even realize what they're doing was taking place in terms of electricity and commercial type vehicles and so forth. But I'm pleased to announce the winner is Excel.
Just a little girl, I asked my mother, what would I be? Would I be pretty? Would I be green? Here's what she said to me. Come on, everyone. Que será, será.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you. Lots of familiar faces tonight, so really exciting to see everybody. It's like a big reunion, but would like to give a special thanks to the NECEC for the recognition. A special thanks to lots of people in this room. Most importantly, the team. We couldn't have gotten here without, not only my co-founder Clay, who was here since the beginning, but some of our newest employees as well, Harry, Kristen, and then Tejas has also done an amazing job on controls for Excel. We snatched him away from Tesla a few years ago, and he's really done a good job for us. So yeah, the 77 million miles. I think Tesla had 4 million when they went public. So we're in a good spot. This industry is really taking off, and this is more of an energy crowd than a transportation crowd. So to put that in perspective, we've already sold about 80 megawatts worth of energy storage. They're just in vehicles. And we're now doing about 2 to 5 megawatts a month. So and that's scaling. We've created this business where we can really dial that up and scale. So we're having a lot of fun. Special thanks to our investors as well. We wouldn't be here without you. There are many in the room. Again, thank you for the investment. We brought on some great strategics at the end of last year with Exelon investing through Constellation, IKEA coming in, as well as some of the largest family offices in the world. So we're really, really excited about the position that we're in. And wanted to let Clay say a few words as well. So.
Thank you, Todd, for the intro. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Thanks so much for the award. It really means a lot to us. Also want to thank our team. We've grown from 5 folks in a room in Somerville to over 50 people in Brighton in our facility, where we have engineers, operations folks, finance folks, technicians, you name it, we have it. Also want to thank our customers. So State of Massachusetts, City of Boston, Eversource, companies like that, cities and states like that, they took a chance on us early on. They bought from us, they helped us grow our customer base, they gave us case studies we could use and sell to other customers. So we now have hundreds of customers, thousands of vehicles on the road, so we're really proud of that. And then finally, I want to thank my co-founder Todd for so many years in the foxhole together, building up this great company. As I look out at the audience and just, during the cocktail hour, there's a lot of budding entrepreneurs here as well. And so seeing XL up here, you guys can do this too. Definitely use the ecosystem that Peter has talked about throughout the night. The ecosystem of lawyers, lobbyists, investors, customers.
Mass CEC.
Mass CEC. Yes. Yes. Money for interns, money for projects. Go see them. Where's Mr. Toth? So yeah, in closing, just want to thank everyone again. It's been a great night, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Great. The finalists in each of these categories are really outstanding companies. Hard choices to make, but it's great to be able to highlight and see what Excel is doing, as well as so many others. So I want to move us on to our second award, and for this I want to welcome up 2 directors from the NECEC innovation team, Katerina Maggiaro, who heads up our Navigate program, and Beth Zonas, who heads up Cleantech Open Northeast. Come on up.
And now I want to announce NECEC Startup Supporter of the Year.
The Startup Supporter of the Year award is given to an organization or individual who has gone above and beyond in supporting clean tech startups, entrepreneurs, and the growth of the clean tech innovation ecosystem in the Northeast.
This year, finalists are Clean Energy Ventures, Fraunhofer Tech Bridge, and Thorn Sparkman with Slater Technology Fund.
The winner of the 2018 Startup Supporter of the Year award is actively seeking to disrupt markets and achieve growth in the coming decade by investing in early-stage companies developing innovative clean energy technologies through a new $100 million fund. However, this company is not only supporting startups through investments, in fact, they're actively mentoring entrepreneurs in a variety of ways.
From offering office hours at Greentown Labs to providing investor feedback, to participating in the DSM Venturing Sunrise Challenge as an external advisor, to serving as judges for the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center Catalyst Program and NECEC's innovation programs, Cleantech Open Northeast Accelerator and Cleantech Navigate Northeast, these companies continually proving itself to be a true startup supporter.
We are pleased to announce that the winner of this year's Startup Supporter of the Year award is Clean Energy Ventures.
We want green.
these away.
Dan, go for it.
This is an amazing honor, and I have incredible gratitude for being introduced to this community initially way back when I was the first client of Tom Burton with New Energy Capital, when we just had this dream of starting to invest in this sector. And I'm honored to be friends and colleagues with many of you. And I'm so thankful for having Clean Energy Venture Group as our cohort to work with the fund collaboratively. It's a huge and important partnership for us to make good investments and a critical part of our processes. So I'm so thankful to know all of our Clean Energy Venture Group partners and to work with them. And of course, this community is an amazing group of people who are committed to address climate change and invest in great companies and develop those companies like Excel and Pika Energy and many others, Energy Sage. So I'm thankful to be here and thankful for all of you.
So I also wanted to thank Summer Grimes, the fourth member of our team at Clean Energy Ventures, and partners Dan and Temple. And hard to believe that we've been doing this together for 15 years almost, originally through Clean Energy Venture Group, which I share that gratitude and just having that amazing group of people to work with. And there's so many people in this room that, you know, we've had the fortune of investing in, the fortune of investing with, working with, by judging and mentoring together, or working on building the community together. Northeast Clean Energy Council, Peter, the rest of the team at NECEC, we've had an amazing relationship through the development of NECEC and the ecosystem here. MassEC, Fraunhofer, Thorne, and Slater. I mean, I could go on for quite a while here. This is such a fantastic community, and we feel so privileged to be supporting startups together with all of you. Thank you.
And to move us on to our last award for this evening, which is the Clean Energy Company of the Year Award. Please welcome Mitch Tyson, who's the chairman of NECEC, and Alistair Pym, NECEC's Vice President of Innovation and Partnerships.
Thanks, Peter. The Clean Energy Company of the Year Award is given to a clean energy company that has made a substantial impact on the region's clean energy industry and stands out from the clean tech crowd. The company must have made a breakthrough in its sector, hit an inflection point in revenue growth or the commercialization process, and established itself as both an industry leader and a market maker.
The winner should show workforce growth, a strong corporate culture, a high-quality work environment for employees, and should provide quality jobs in the region. So this year's finalists are on screen. Blue Wave Solar, Borrego Solar, and Enel.
Very hard choice. This year's winner of the 2018 Clean Energy Company of the Year Award is a true champion for the solar industry. This company has developed 135 megawatts of solar across Massachusetts, including the first 2 community solar projects in the state, and serves over 3,000 solar customers in Massachusetts, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, and recently Florida and Minnesota. They continuously innovate ahead of the market curve with new product launches, including their flex rate loan, combined community solar and solar loan product, financing for residential solar plus storage, and agricultural dual-use development offering.
So you're still all guessing? And moreover, this company is actively engaged in policy work to advance the solar industry across all its states. They advocate for solar on issues including federal tariffs, utility rates and charges, solar incentive programs, and other issues pertinent to the industry. Since starting with only 4 employees back in 2010, the company today employs 90 clean energy workers, helping to transform the way Americans access and afford renewable energy.
Congratulations to Blue Wave Solar.
Brought all 90 with us.
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I want to begin by thanking the photographer. These folks, including myself, have never looked so good as a group, which is a testimony to all of you and to the council that we view this as a very important event each year, and we are super honored and thrilled to be selected for this award. We're thrilled that our friends at XL and Dan Goldman and the folks at Clean Energy Ventures were selected as well. We're proud to be in the same company with you. And we're proud to be in the same company as Borrego and Enel, who are terrific companies that are as deserving of this award as we are. And want to congratulate them for all the good work they've done and thank them for all the good work that they've done. I don't want to be accused, as Churchill once accused one of his opponents, as having the remarkable gift of compressing a great number of words into a small amount of thought. But I do have a couple of things that I'd like to say. First, to thank the Clean Energy Council and what Peter and Janet and Alistair and Jamie and Kate and the team there have done is truly remarkable. And you judge people, it's said, by who their friends are, and Blue Wave and this industry generally couldn't have a better friend than the Clean Energy Council. So thank you, Peter. For all your great work. Two other comments. We're very proud of our success, but we're also very aware of the challenges that all of us as an industry face and that Blue Wave faces as a company. They're daunting challenges. One of the earlier speakers talked about the turbulent times. My friend and colleague Eric Graber Lopez says it's not headwinds, it's what? I forget, but it sounded really good in a planning meeting today. Turbulence was the basic point. We call Eric the wizard, by the way, because he comes up with such clever things as that. But one of the keys to our success, and one of the reasons that we are so optimistic about the future, is the quality of the leadership team that we have, many of them here with me today. And the two people I want to especially take note of, my co-founders, Eric Graber Lopez, who many of you know is the president of Blue Wave, and Trevor Hardy, our chief executive officer. Blue Wave's success has been built on their shoulders, and I don't think when we got started 8 years or so ago, I don't think we ever envisioned that we would be getting this award or achieve some of the successes that we've had or become such good friends. And I think the whole company, and certainly I feel this way, I think everybody does. We're very fortunate to be led by two such capable and decent human beings. Peter's rushing to the microphone, so I'll be very brief. The other reason that we're optimistic about the future, and that I think has a lot to do with our success, is that we've been able to attract so many good young people who share our mission in the fight for climate change, who bring in energy and enthusiasm. We're very proud that 40 of those 90 or so folks are owners of Blue Wave, and their enthusiasm and commitment to our mission inspires us all. It's baseball season, so it's okay to quote one of the great philosophers of our time, Yogi Berra, who said of baseball that it's 90% mental and the other half is physical. We've got a great team of smart people who are doing the mental work, but also putting their shoulder to the wheel and doing the physical work, and it adds up to 140%. So for the leadership that inspires those folks and leads them, and for all those good young folks that have come into this business, as they have in all of your companies, it offers great hope for the future. So again, thank you, Peter, and to the council for this award.
I'm going to turn it over to Mitch Tyson, our chairman, with some closing remarks.
It's late, and I will be extremely brief. But there are some people and organizations that deserve to be acknowledged and thanked. First, Alex Cora and the Red Sox. They have provided the greatest distraction from the news that I can ever imagine. Second, we have to thank the council staff, the council vice presidents, Janet Besser, Alistair Pym, and of course our president, Peter Rothstein. Their leadership, creativity, and dedication drive the council and have established its critical role in building our regional ecosystem. Third, I want to thank our great board of directors. Their names are listed in the program, and the 6-person executive committee that put in even more time, and our vice chair, Dan Goldman, who puts even more time than that. Their commitment and vision really help to focus the agenda of the council so that it has the greatest impact on our industry and our region. And I also want to thank all of you, the fantastic state sponsors and partners that we have, the great foundations that support our work, the startups, emerging companies, and scaling companies, our strategic partners, our university partners, allies in the investment community, the numerous service corporations that provide legal, accounting, real estate, and many other critical resources, the amazing mentors that we have that help our companies to succeed, and the many other partner organizations like Greentown Labs, Acadia Center, and many, many others that work with us to achieve our mission. In Silicon Valley, they call clean tech tech. In this region, clean tech is clean tech. And I think it's an important distinction because it defines us and it supports a culture that defines why we are here and why we care so much about the industry that we're part of. Your passion, your generosity, and your friendship really make this ecosystem strong, it makes it fun, and it makes it the best clean tech community on the planet. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Mitch. And I just wanted to add a couple of additional thank yous in wrapping this up. Thank you, first of all, everyone here for attending, for being part of this industry, for being part of the collaboration of of growing a clean energy economy. Thank you all. I want to congratulate the award winners and all of the nominees for their great work. I want to thank our musicians who've been great. Veronica Robles and the all-female mariachi band tonight. And Veronica told me that they are performing this weekend on Saturday afternoon in Boston. Look up their website if you want to hear more. Thank you. Thank you to all of our gala sponsors, especially our platinum sponsors, Avangrid and Enel. Thank you to NECEC's members, to our sponsors who work with us year-round, to our state partners who are here as well, E2 Tech in Maine, the New Hampshire Sustainable Energy Association, Renewable Energy Vermont, and Merthyr Kalina in Connecticut, who help us be more effective across all of our 7 states. Thank you, Mitch, and the entire NECEC board for your work, your support, your encouragement, your kicking us to keep reaching farther into growing this industry. And it works around the clock, so thank you. Thank you to the NECEC team. I want to thank Janet, Alistair, Sean, Brennan, Jamie, Beth, Katarina, Dan, Emma, all of our past and current interns are here tonight as well for all the work you do. As Mitch said in thanking the Red Sox, I think we also need to thank Major League Baseball for not scheduling a game tonight. And go Red Sox. So as we come to a close for this evening's program, enjoy the coffee, enjoy each other, make as much noise as you want, and we can continue that at the bar later on downstairs. We're here to keep growing this industry and the clean energy economy of this region and the world. Thank you all very much.
Al despuntar la mañana lleva el río una canoa, don Guillermo va en la proa bajo el cielo y sol ardiente, va bordeando las cañadas para llegar hasta su gente. Cae la tarde, ya oscurece, las bandadas se guarecen, bajo el remo le estremece don Guillermo a su canoa, va cargado de ilusiones y entonando alegres sones.